Hey seniors, it's the counselors coming to talk with you today about how to find the right personal, social, academic, and financial fit for after you graduate from high school. Whether it's 2-year, 4-year, community, or technical college, we wanted to talk with you about some strategies to make a post-secondary option affordable to you. So we're going to talk a little bit about financial aid and how to look for some scholarships. So the first thing we want to talk about is the free application for federal student aid. Typically, students in previous years are able to fill that form out after January of their senior year, but the first time ever, it is launched on October 1st, so it's available now. As a result, we had a parent evening on September 29th. You can find information about the FAFSA on the front page of your Naviance screen. We've been advertising it on bulletins that it's available now to be filled out, as well as newsletters. That, along with the CSS profile, which is for 260 essentially private schools, they require an additional form to delve in a little further. The free application for federal student aid is your first step to determine how much you're expected to pay no matter where you go to college. What happens is if you fill this form out, you're going to get what's called an EFC, an expected family contribution. And each of the schools for which you apply to would get that expected family contribution. They would take their cost of attendance, which is their price tag of their school, to live, eat, breathe, cost of attendance, meaning room and board, as well as tuition, and they would subtract their cost of attendance from your expected family contribution, and if you have anything left, you have what's called need. And so each of your colleges would give you a financial aid package to tell you how they would meet your need. If you don't have need, which some of you sometimes think, then you might say to yourself, why would I fill this out? Well, there's great benefits to filling out no matter how much you or your family makes, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So here's a couple of tips. Number one, to fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, both you and your parent have to create a FAFSA ID. That's essentially the way that you're able to sign your FAFSA electronically. So you would want to create a different email than your parent to create your own FAFSA ID. The other cool thing about this whole entire FAFSA form this year is that it's using prior tax information. In other words, it's using tax information from 2015, and thus it'll let you go to the IRS data retrieval and populate that into your FAFSA, so it only is taking around 20 to 30 minutes for you to fill out. And it should be a family affair because there is a student part and a parent-guardian part. So to fill out the FAFSA, you go to FAFSA.gov, you create a FAFSA ID, as does your parent or guardian, and you fill out the FAFSA by starting a new FAFSA. You are able to enter 10 colleges, and after you fill it out, you're able to add more if you are applying to more than 10 schools. And it does make sense to print out a paper copy just for your records. So again, some of you might be saying, why would I fill this out? I'm not going to qualify for any financial aid, financial need, because in the financial package, it's usually going to determine federal and state aid as well as institutional aid as well as work study and loans. However, the only thing that we can say to you is that without filling this out, the only thing that's guaranteed is you get nothing. Sometimes schools use this form to determine institutional money. And so by filling this out, even if you don't have need, it's a great way for you to figure that piece out. Here are some strict benefits about it. It may allow you to qualify for loans no matter how much you make, which are the best loans out there. They're about 3.76% interest rate this year, and they have great payback, a lot of times for after you graduate. It will qualify you for campus work study jobs, federal and state if you have need, and financial aid from the school. And sometimes schools will give out what's called merit or non-need based aid just by filling out this form. So there are benefits for you to filling out the FAFSA. Again, if you do have need, each college will give you a financial aid package that might be comprised of some scholarships and grants, which is free money first, and then work study and loans in there as well. We're going to shift over to talk to you all about the different types of scholarships that are out there so you can be strategic with securing some money that might be a way for you to offset any out-of-pocket expenses that you have. There's 4 categories of scholarships, and this is in order of priority. First, there's scholarships that is given from the college. Those are determined to be non-need based or merit aid. And that's about 35% of the money that's given to students each year is institutional money itself. And as I said, sometimes filling out the FAFSA would qualify you for that without filling out any additional applications. Then there's local scholarships. That doesn't mean you have to go to a local college. It means that it's a local group giving you money. So sometimes the pool of candidates is smaller. Then there's groups and family affiliated scholarships, and finally, national scholarships. We're going to talk about each of them. National would mean a bigger pool of candidates from across the country. Looking at the college scholarships in particular, that's the biggest source of money. As I referenced, about 35% of the money that's given from any college or for any student is from the college itself. Some of this is just by filling out an actual FAFSA to determine if you're eligible for that scholarship. In addition, some schools require you to fill out additional scholarships to be eligible for their institutional money. It makes sense for each of you to go to each of the schools that you're looking at to see if they have additional scholarship money available by attending their school. And some of them require an additional application. Because of the launch of the FAFSA on October 1, some of these schools have moved their deadlines, so it's important for you to look at the deadlines for those schools. So again, the merit aid scholarships from colleges, the simple rule of thumb is if you want more scholarships, apply to schools that are most likely to accept you. Most schools give a discount. For most colleges, it's a buyer's market. So it makes sense to read and ask your colleges if they have any scholarships. Pay attention to their deadlines, as I said, and some of these are triggered solely by having a certain ACT, SAT score or GPA. Some require leadership or a special skill or talent. What's kind of cool to navigate whether or not a school offers any of these scholarships, a cool website to look at is called College Navigator. That can allow you to know how much a college on average gives. So by going to College Navigator, you would plug in the college name, and then you would click on the financial aid tab, and it would tell you on average how much a school gives any student for a grant or scholarship. Another resource that I think is super helpful is Big Future College Board. You can go to the paying tab after you look up a college, and then financial aid by the numbers. You'll be able to see the average need-based scholarships if you have need, and the average non-need-based scholarships. So by doing a little navigation, it can help you be strategic with your decisions as you're finding your right affordable fit. Then there's local scholarships. Local scholarships requires you to look for them on your own. It's a smaller pool of applicants equals better chances. There's many local scholarships out there, and most have individual applications. We're going to talk about that a little bit at length here, but here's how to find local scholarships. We are privileged here at Eden Prairie to have Naviance, and if you go to your colleges tab on Naviance, you can go to the scholarship list and see all kinds of local scholarships that we're putting on each week. We activate scholarships usually about 2 months prior to their due, so if you make it a regular part-time job to go and look, you're going to be able to see if you're eligible for any scholarships. Some notable scholarships that are coming up are the Schulze Scholarship, which is for middle-class families to get a renewable $5,000 a year scholarship, meaning for 4 years you get $20,000. Then there's the Memorial John Heinmiller Scholarship, which is determined if you have activities and character is the recipients of that scholarship to represent that program. So one of the things that we also put on Naviance is some of the family, or actually another place for you to look for scholarships is through your family, through churches, ask grandparents, ask your parents if they have any scholarships within their job. But going back to the scholarships piece, if you go to the colleges tab, here's a screenshot of what you would click on, the scholarship list. From there, you would be able to put on the drop-down whether or not you want to look at local scholarships or national scholarships. You can also look at those scholarships that are only for seniors. What's super cool about this is these particular links are going to hyperlink you to the instructions, the deadline, and who is going to be eligible for the scholarship. Be particularly savvy with whether or not you're eligible for those scholarships, because some of them require a certain interest or area of study, and some of them require an essay or a project or some sort of product from you. So pay attention to that. What's super cool is you can also check on this box to only look at scholarships that have been added or updated since your last visit. So it's a great part-time job if you end up getting a scholarship and have only spent a couple of hours. So we encourage you to look at the scholarship database that we keep every week for you to be able to see if you're eligible or want to apply for these scholarships on your own. The other cool thing we're here to announce today is that we are launching on December 15th the multi-scholarship. Each of you as seniors can fill out one application and be eligible for up to 20 local scholarships. Some of them have a certain requirement, such as being a part of an association of some sort like basketball or soccer, but many of them are for students who have involvement, character, or leadership. The deadline for this application is February 6th, and we are going to launch it on December 15th. So hopefully either in front of you today or soon, we're going to give you a green sheet that identifies and gives you directions for each of the scholarship participants. So basically, to access this scholarship after December 15th, the application will be live on Naviance. You're going to be able to go to your About Me tab, and we're calling it a survey, but it's really an application. If you're interested in applying to up to 20 different scholarships by filling out one application, you would fill out the 2016-2017 multi-scholarship application. Again, it's due February 6th. Here are some tips about this. Number one, this is your chance to apply for some local scholarships. Some of them have specific directions that require a letter of recommendation or an essay. Be very, very mindful of the specific instructions for whichever of the 20 scholarships that you're applying to. You can apply to more than one. If you already have a letter of recommendation on Naviance, we will retrieve that for you and use that letter for your scholarship if it requires it. If you do not, you will want to make sure you ask your recommender and give them 2 weeks to write a letter on your behalf. Some of them also require an essay. If that is the case, make sure you take time to talk about yourself and talk about the prompt and talk about your impact and talk about how you're going to represent that scholarship. They're going to be picking from whoever is the pool of candidates in our school that applies for these scholarships. When you go to the multi-scholarship, it is going to bring you to a form that you fill out. That is where you're going to indicate which of the 20 schools or more, you can pick more than one of the scholarships that you're applying for. So you want to be very, very mindful of following the directions exactly. As I referenced before, any letters of recommendation you already have written on your behalf, we'll use that by using Naviance. And we will also upload your transcripts for you, so you don't have to worry about any of those pieces. The green form that you're going to get describes each of the scholarships and its necessary criteria. Again, this one form allows you to apply and be accepted up to 20 schools, so it makes sense for you to consider being involved in applying for this. Again, it's due February 6th. On December 15th, the day of the launch, we are going to have a core session in the Career Resource Center to give you tips and strategies on how to fill out the application using Naviance. We are actually going to have a video of one of our presidents of the Foundation for Eden Prairie Schools talking to you, and we're going to be able to give you some tips and strategies. So definitely consider coming to the CRC on December 15th for core time using the core app to sign up. National scholarships are another vehicle for you to look for scholarships. You can look for that on Naviance, obviously, but there's also so many other internet search tools that you can use, from Peterson's on down to scholarships.com. If you should want to look for scholarships on your own that we don't put on to Naviance, you're welcome to look at those scholarships as well. Pay attention to how many recipients are given and who will be your pool. It's going to more than likely be the nations, so you want to be really mindful if you're eligible and pay attention to the deadlines. One of the things that's super important for us to emphasize to all of you is never pay to have somebody find scholarships for you. There's no way you should pay to try to find money. There are too many resources out there for you, including the fact that we have Naviance, including the fact that we have the multi-scholarship, including the fact that many institutions give you money, which is the biggest pot of scholarship money anyway, as referenced many times today. In any case, if you're looking at scholarships, there's some strategies that we'd like to just give you some tips on. Number one, check for Naviance and check it weekly. There's also a new resource called ScholarSnap. I'm a little on the, it's brand new, let me just say it that way, but it's kind of like using the Common App. If you fill out one application, it might allow you to use it for other national scholarships. So check it out and give me feedback if you have any about how that's working, because it's brand new this year. In addition, compile an accomplish list. Use the resume builder on Naviance under the About Me tab and be able to use that for your scholarships. It's a great way for you not to have to repeat on scholarship applications over and over if you have some sort of resume or spreadsheet about all your activities. Be prepared to write. Don't not fill out an application if it requires an essay. It's your best part-time job if you end up getting money and you spend an hour writing an essay. Give them a reason to choose you and write well. Write about your passions and write about why you would represent that scholarship program. Letters of recommendation, again, if any scholarships you're looking at requires them, give 2 weeks. If you're using the multi-scholarship and have not received a letter yet, make sure you're asking a recommender, and if they're in-house, they can upload it on Naviance. If they're not in-house, they would need to email it to Miss Block, and then she will upload it for you, and I will upload it for you, and we will use that for your multi-scholarship. If your scholarship requires a nomination, don't hesitate to ask your counselor not to nominate you. It's a great way for us to be able to nominate you for cool things, so don't be shy about it. Don't be modest. And some other things, as I'm referencing, to remember is modesty does not pay. Use your essay prompts to be able to talk about you. Pick recommenders that are going to be able to speak about you. Use your essay very, very, very to write strong about your start, finish, and clear points about you. Scholarship money often goes to the school and not to the student, just so you know. So if you get some money, it's dispersed to the college. So you do have to report it to the college. That's something to note. So if you want to ask any of your colleges, hey, if I get an outside scholarship, how does that impact my financial aid package? That is a super smart move to do. Don't ever not contact the financial aid offices at your school, especially if you get a financial aid package that doesn't fit for you and your family. They need to know your story, and they can make adjustments and professional considerations for you. Be aware that some scholarships are generators for other companies, so be careful about that. Using perhaps a different email for your scholarships, and make sure you check it. Remember, money is from colleges first, so do not hesitate to look at your schools first and foremost. Apply for local scholarships. You're better able to get local scholarships than national ones. And make sure if it requires an essay to write well, because persistence pays. Finally, we want to let you know that if you're picked for one of the local scholarships, you will be invited to the community and local scholarships celebration that will be on May 18th. So keep in mind that we'll honor you for local scholarships only on that night. So we're super excited for you all to find your right fit, and that includes your affordable fit. So please pay attention to that green form and the sheets there, and do please consider coming to the core presentation on the multi-scholarship on December 15th. And finally, that multi-scholarship is due February 6th. Counselors in the Career Resource Center is here to support you, so let us know if you have any questions, and have a great day.